our trio of Usato, Kazuki, and Suzune as they find themselves being caught in a magic circle, being summoned to a different world, and one of our trio seems a bit too excited to be yoinked from Earth. Our trio now finds themselves in front of the king of Lingale. The king cuts to the chase and tells the three of them that they have been summoned like gacha characters. Upon hearing this news, Suzune fist pumps because fuck her friends and family, I guess. The king decides we could all use some unwanted exposition as Usato is watching as this image of Suzune is crumbling like the Falcons with a lead, as Suzune seems way too excited about this. Now that the king's done with his irrelevant rambling, it turns out that Usato is not supposed to be here, as Kazuki and Suzune are actually the heroes. And after being fire-fested, the king informs Usato that the magic spell they used to summon them is a one-way trip, because apparently this magic works the same way as a Pringles can. Kazuki gets upset about this. The king then apologizes, saying he'll find a way to send Usato back. Now my question is, so you sons of bitches found a way to summon heroes from another world to yours, but no one was like, hey yo, how we gonna send these motherfuckers back to their world? For another wizard to be like, shit, that sounds like a problem for future us. Like, I mean, for fuck's sakes. Anyways, the king begs for them to lend them their power, and the three agree to help, especially Suzune. It's now time to drop them draws and see what abilities they got. Kazuki gets the light element, Suzune gets the lightning element, and Usato's lights up green, which makes the mage Wesley snatch Usato like a claw machine and take him to the king. The king's wondering what's the fuss about, as Wesley informs the king that Usato is a healing mage. This makes the king quite concerned, which in turn makes Usato quite concerned, as the king realizes that they can't let her find out, and they must take Usato into witness protection. But what's this? Is that the sound of imminent demise walking into the throne room? No, it's Rose. But for Usato, it might as well be demise, as Rose is the leader of the kingdom's rescue squad. The king then tries to save Usato, but oh, the ignorance is strong with Kazuki and Suzune, as Kazuki asks why did they run out of the room when the crystals turned green for Usato, like a shark smelling blood in the water. Rose immediately looks at Usato, and Usato immediately tries to look for God, but there is no God to save him, only Rose. Rose then knocks Usato out, then picks him up like a dog and says she'll be borrowing him, and she'll make him a fine healer. Rose then skedaddles out of there with Usato. Now conscious, Usato is at the rescue squad's HQ. Rose informs him that this will be his room when 5 completely trustworthy gentlemen pop up out of the Mario warp pipe and welcomes Big Sis Rose back. Rose then mentions to them that Usato will be under her care from now on and tells the lads to introduce themselves. They're Alec, Gomule, Gold, Tong, and Mill. Usato is looking terrified. Rose then hits them with the sweet chin music and tells them to not scare Usato. Rose tells Usato that his training starts tomorrow. She then informs Usato that he'll be staying with Tong. Usato, surprised by how normal the room is. Tong, preparing to sleep, informs Usato that it's a good thing he can heal himself because tomorrow is going to be hell. Usato asks Tong, could he tell him some more about healing magic? Tong explains that those who have healing magic only excel at healing magic. They have no other talent, and how until a while ago, healing mages were seen as marks, and that even now in other countries, they're treated as Jack Doherty. Even Tong thought they were useless. Usato asks, used to? Tong screams at Usato to shut up and go to sleep. Usato then lies down to go to sleep. It's now been 3 weeks since the Bearstein Bears have been yoinked to this new world. While having lunch with the princess after some training, Suzune and Kazuki decide to go check on Usato. They arrive at the rescue squad's HQ and no one's home. So Suzune decides that privacy is a one-way street and finds Usato's room and violates Usato's privacy by reading his diary. But here's the thing. Suzune thought that she would get Usato's thoughts on who he likes, favorite color, favorite food, hobbies. Nope. She instead gets a tale of a man who's gone through hell itself. Day 1. Oh, this hell that they speak of is going to be lightweight. If it's only going to be reading books and increasing my ability to feel mana. Day 2. Hell is real. Day 3. God is dead and the devil's alive and well. Day 4 and 5. I ran with the other inhabitants of hell. Day 6. I'm starting to get used to this hell. Plus now, I'm finally able to feel my mana. Day 7. Turns out, there's more than just one layer of hell. Day 8. What have I done to deserve such a fate? Day 9. Pain. I only feel pain. Day 10. I no longer feel like pain or exhaustion. Day 11. The devil gave me another trial. I cleared it, but when I did, the devil smiled. Day 12. From sunrise to sunset, hell is what I'm in. Day 13. The devil continues trying to break me. Day 14, one of the inhabitants, Tong, has consumed my food. An unforgivable sin. Aside from his sin, I've gotten used to hell. Wait, am I even still human? Then Kazuki and Suzune get yelled at by Seagrass, who informs them that Usato is at the training grounds. At said training grounds, we see Rose on top of a concrete block that's on top of Usato. Rose then asks, is he going to give up just because the weight's increased a bit? Usato then remarks, who's giving up? Rose tells him to stop putting on a brave face. Usato clicks his tongue. Suzune and Kazuki are perplexed at what in Davy Jones' locker they're looking at. Rose asks, did he just click his tongue? Usato responds, nope, just thought the weight difference wasn't much since she's so light. Rose retorts, that's so sweet of him, as she hops off the block and strolls to another concrete block and also places this one on his back, as it shouldn't be a problem for him, right? Usato, may buckle, but mama ain't raised no bitch. Rose, like admiring a car being rebuilt, remarks, he's coming along nicely. Seagrass grabs Rose's collar and says what she's doing can't be considered training, but torture. Rose tells Seagrass to let go and keep his night ideals tonight. As Rose slowly starts to crush Seagrass's armor, she explains that Usato will become her right-hand man in the future, and it'll be a problem if he's trash, as Usato is an amazing find, as he hates losing and never quits or surrenders. Plus, he's able to survive her hellish training, which gets her seal of approval. Seagrass begrudgingly lets go, calling her a damn lunatic. As they prepare to leave, Rose asks, didn't they want to speak with that thing? As Usato retorts, don't call him a thing. Rose says since they came all this way, might as well take a break and have lunch. After getting up, Usato is curious about the girl behind Kazuki. She then introduces herself as Sierra Bluegust Lingale. Yes, the Lingale King's daughter. After that panic attack of a revelation, Usato asks Kazuki and Suzune how their training's going. But they don't say, cause compared to his training, theirs is like a fucking coughing baby. But something piques Suzune's interest as she walks up to Usato and just pulls up his shirt. Now, I know they're in another world, but this is definitely sexual assault, right? Like it can't just be me bugging, right? Now, like you can't just do this, can you? Can't you? Welcome to Suzune, who said fuck the laws as she gazes at holy shit Batman, look at his goddamn physique, my god. Suzune starts monologuing about sports science and how because he can heal any muscle damage he suffers from excessive training, it allows for the body to be able to train continuously, as while his muscles are built for endurance, they're also able to produce superhuman strength. After saying all that, now she wants to touch Usato's muscles. Usato promptly, rightfully rejects the psychopath's proposition. Kazuki asks Usato, is his training always like this? Usato says that the training today was actually on the easy side, which blows Kazuki and Suzune's mind. Kazuki asks Usato a dumbass question. Is it tough? Usato then says how he wanted to run away at first, but then he realized mama ain't raised no bitch, and that recently he started to think the training's fun. As Suzune says how amazing Usato is, as he's already found a place he belongs, but Usato informs them that not really, he's just not trying to be dead weight to them. Kazuki says there's no way they would think that. Yeah, okay, shit sound good, Kazuki, don't it? Usato says don't get him wrong, that was just his pride talking, as he couldn't just sit idly by as they both fight the Demon King's army. Usato, I got some bad news for you, pal. I don't think Rose was ever gonna let you sit idly by. Suzune then acts cutesy as she says to make sure to come and save her when she's in trouble. This act does nothing for Usato, as he no longer sees Suzune as a normal girl, which he shouldn't see her as, by the way. When Suzune screams, just what does he see her as? Well, I can answer that one for you, a lunatic. When then, this unforgivable bitch, Tong, walks up with some food. Nah, you bitch, you thought we forgot about what you did on day 14? Nah, bitch, we remember. We always remember. As this rightfully sets Usato off, Tong then has the goal to ask, what's Usato on about? As Usato tries to kick him, Tong then tells Usato he'll whoop his ass. Usato remarks, I'd like to see you try, bitch. As he then hits Tong with a vicious right jab, my god. Suzune remarks how her and Kazuki were worried for nothing, but watching Usato has made Kazuki's blood boil as he heads off back to the castle to train Suzune monologues in her head that even though Usito says he was dragged along, she personally believes there's more to it than that. This absolute buffoon before you fumbling one of the easiest MC bags one could have. Psych! Turns out he's actually not the MC of our story, but the MC of a webtoon that our MC, Kang Lim, is reading. And he's also pissed at the MC for being like Melvin Gordon. As he thinks aloud, why are all the guys in webtoons such betas? The comments aren't much better, as they are just letting off shots, as Kang Lim sits up and yells, how could the MC possibly turn that down? Cause if it was him, he'd be 6 feet deep in it. When his younger sister, Na Min Jong, pops into his room, telling him as nicely as possible to shut the whole fuck up, as she's on a call and he's embarrassing her. So if he could just stop doing whatever the fuck he's doing, that would be great. Kang Lim starts apologizing, but Min Jeong has already said her piece as she slams the door as she walks out. Kang Lim wonders, but why? After surviving that sudden boss encounter, Kang Lim grabs his phone and wonders how is he gonna wait a week for the next chapter to drop, as he doesn't got any more views left. And like all contributing members of society, he thinks how he's going to go about getting some more views for free, but instead decides to commit the biggest mistake on the internet, reading the comments. He then sees a comment saying how they like how the MC's innocent. Now, let me say this. I personally don't mind when a character's innocent, but could you just not make everyone else around them horny, please? Back on topic, the commenter also comments, talk is cheap, and put your money where your mouth is, and become the main character. Kang Lim thinks aloud. If he could, he would. And if only he had the looks. He then turns to look at himself in the mirror. And now that he actually takes a look, maybe he does have the looks. Let me break it to you, Kang Lim. You get a solid 6 from me, man. Kang Lim then thinks he could probably do the fighting stuff if he tried. As he punches his chair, his sister bangs on the wall to once again, calmly and nicely, ask him to shut all the way the fuck up, ya bitch. It's now the next day, and we find ourselves in most people's hell. High school, where we meet. Oh no, the weakness has claimed another victim. Shin Young-soo, who like most League of Legends players, suffers from a severe case of delusion, as he sits down and immediately starts talking about how he carried Kang Lim's sorry ass to plat. He then also brags about his fucking gotcha pulls, as he pulled the new limited unit off a single. Been there, Young-soo, been there. As Kang Lim is distraught, as Young-soo is a free-to-play champion, Kang Lim then asks Young-soo if he's read that chapter yesterday. Young-soo asks which one is he talking about. Kang Lim says ESW. Young-soo is confused and asks, is that a new series or something? This puzzles Kang Lim, as he's wondering if Young-soo is being moronic. He's talking about Escape the Sixth Wife. Young-soo says, what an interesting title. He didn't think there'd be a famous series he didn't know about yet. Same note to Young-soo. Same note to. Kang Lim asks, is he fucking with him? Just cause Dahi was the lead yesterday instead of his precious Yi Rim, who's been in it for the last 2 months. But Young-soo is genuinely confused as he gets a weep alert on his phone that he's being invaded again, and Young-soo goes into full delusional monologue. Kang Lim decides to look for ESW to shove it in his face. But what's this? It's not in his recents. Did they take it down just because everyone was on that chapter's ass? But isn't that a bit too much just from a little criticism? The teacher then comes in the room and tells everyone to be quiet as, oh my goodness, what's this? A transfer student showing up in my webtoon? Impossible. And can we all take a guess at who the transfer student is? That's right, you, Dahi, one of the heroines from ESW. All the simps in the class are being some horny teenagers, while Kang Lim is in shock. Dahi is finishing up her introductions. The class is in awe, as Kang Lim is having a internal and external crisis, as this fictional character is now non-fiction. Young-soo asks Kang Lim, is he familiar with this other dimensional female? Whatever the fuck that means. Oh, he's referring to 3D women. Ah. Loser. Kang Lim starts a fucking long ass internal monologue about how of course he knows her, and rightfully he is confused as my god, he's still internally monologuing. In short, Dahi is his waifu. Kang Lim then asks how she's here. He then denies reality for a bit, believing it to be a prank. Cosplay? Dream. The teacher then asks Dahi, does she know Kang Lim? And she has no fucking idea who the hell he is. It's now time to feast on cheap, underwhelming, half-cooked food. School lunch. As young Sue then speaks in weeb to Kang Lim, who's still going through it, trying to comprehend the whole fictional characters now in reality thing, you know, simple stuff. Kang Lim then prepares to go and talk to Dahi. He looks at her and freezes as he realizes that she's badder than a motherfucker. As he's getting mesmerized by her looks, she then glances at him and makes eye contact. She then stands up and strolls over to Kang Lim. And my god, Kang Lim is so nervous, he somehow completely forgets the reason as to why she would even come talk to him in the first place. Dahi comes over to Kang Lim and asks him, have we met before? Kang Lim nervously replies, oh, no. As she remarks by the formal tone, Kang Lim then internally monologues how it's been so long since he's last talked to a girl, so it made him a nervous wreck. Now, listen, I don't want to call Kang Lim a loser, but it's real hard when he's out here demonstrating loser-like behavior. Back to Dahi, who was just wondering about that debacle in the morning. As she's the opposite of me and she can't really remember faces, as she's forgotten the faces of many people. Kang Lim then proceeds to do the bold strategy of bringing up that time she met her friend again, a scene that happened in the webtoon. And how did this go over with Dahi? Well, she's quite startled as Kang Lim realizes that was probably a fucking awful idea. Shocker. As now, Dahi is wondering, how does he know about that incident, as well as her liking white chocolates? And ladies and gentlemen, Kang Lim decides to grab the nearest shovel and decided that the hole he's dug is not deep enough, as he just digs and digs. Then two guys who definitely don't look like default asshole number one and henchman number one ask if Dahi wants to go to the convenience store to grab some food since the lunch is trash today. She agrees to go since she's been wanting to go to one, and would you look at that, default asshole number one glares at Kang Lim, and I hope it's for him being a fucking loser. Kang Lim was pretty excited to talk to Dahi as he knows exactly what Dahi likes and dislikes because she's his waifu. He then thinks life fucking sucks. Same note too, bro. Now back at home, and I just don't fucking understand what he's expecting to happen here. Leaves a comment about how a webtoon character has appeared in real life. Like, what comments was he expecting to get? And after reading the comments, Kang Lim then also says, what did he expect? He then states how even he wouldn't believe something like this. And as he's thinking about how he didn't really get to talk to Dahi, his own fault by the way, when then his mom screams at him to come out for a second. His mom then tells him to go to the convenience store and get some ketchup. He wonders why, as he's just fine with eggs. His sister then interjects that she's not and he's only playing video games, so it's fine to go. Kang Lim then thinks, this fuck, she's talking a lot of shit for someone who's only watching TV. After purchasing said ketchup from the store, now strolling back home from the store thinking about this morning's chaos, he comes to the conclusion that right now he's probably in the first chapter of ESW. As Kang Lim starts thinking, does the story from the webtoon carry over to reality, as he then starts trying to remember what happens in the first chapter?
You never see it coming. You
gotta be fucking kidding me. What the fuck is that? Why is she hit the car like a cartoon character? And then clicks breaks for King Lim that ESW is about the male lead saving 6 female leads from different dangers, and Dai's danger was a stalker. But unlike in the webtoon, there's no male lead here. Oh my fucking god. Why she hit that car like a GTA character? But anyways, King Lim's going through it. She hit that fucking car so fucking hard. Oh my god. What's this? King Lim is now back in class, but this time his teacher is scolding him. And then the teacher introduces a new transfer student, Yu Dahi. And as she's introducing herself again, it then sinks in for King Lim that he's been sent back in time to that morning. We find our MC Saguto Sumihara waking up and finding himself in the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy cave, as it seems that he's been copy and pasted to a new mysterious place. He gets up and starts looking around. Then in the distance, he sees a man who clearly hates his job. The man glares at Saguto, and Saguto notices that the man has blue eyes, which we can't see because the panel's black and white. This means Saguto ain't in Japan no more. The man then calls Saguto tagless. Hey yo? That definitely gotta be racist. The man tells him that if he ain't passing by to just stay there until he's finished. And like a teenage boy seeing his first vagina, Saguto stands there in shock, I think. I don't know, this face connotes a lot of things. The man then starts getting his Minecraft on, and oh, it was shocked because the man wasn't speaking Japanese. And yet Saguto was able to understand his words somehow. After collecting enough iron ore to build a full set of iron armor, the mysterious man then gets up to leave. Saguto decides to not leave just yet as he needs to figure out where he is, and I guess somehow staying in this cave is going to help him. Somehow, while wandering in this cave, Saguto stumbles on some blue gems and a colorless, transparent gem as well. But while exploring, he sees in the distance some more Minecrafters heading towards the surface world. Saguto decides to follow them, and after suffering a weeb's biggest weakness, sunlight, Saguto gets one last confirmation that he's not in Kansas anymore. After getting to the surface and looking at all the locals in their natural habitat, a young girl with some horns is dragging a shovel along as she walks behind Saguto. She then turns around and glances at him. She then looks forward and keeps it pushing. Saguto then sees a line and wonders if maybe he should get in it. He then turns around and sees a shocking sight, the Tower God. Shit, wrong series. After this, I don't know, 18th confirmation that he's not on Earth. This is the dagger that officially makes him realize that he's really not on Earth anymore. Hi, his name is Saguto Sumihara, and you must be wondering how he got here. Well, you see, after staring at the infinite tower that's in every gacha game, a vendor asks Saguto, did he fail in gathering magical stones? Since he's not getting in the line, Saguto then asks about the magical stones. Then we get everyone's favorite game making its grand return, all the exposition about the world and magical stones. Anyways, the reason Saguto is getting his Minecraft on is because if he doesn't get no ore, that means no money, and no money mean no eat or sleep. So yeah, he doesn't exactly have much of a choice. And as you can see by his bucket, like someone who's taken too many Viagra, he seems to be the only one having a hard time. When then, the sheep girl from earlier points at a spot on the wall and tells Saguto, this spot's good. Saguto is taken aback, wondering if she's talking to him. She says, precisely, as he's slightly thrown off by her, you know, looking like a sheep and shit. She then explains that where he's mining was mined yesterday, so it's going to be useless for now. Saguto is confused, as there's no traces of it being mined. Now, I'm pretty sure that Saguto has only been in this world for less than 8 hours, but decides to call the girl who's been in this world infinitely longer than him a liar. She then decides to make Saguto put on a whole ass clown fit. As she proves herself correct, Saguto's in disbelief as he says that was just pure luck. He then also hits that exact same spot, and like 16 more ore fall out. He then looks at her, who's now smug. He then bows and apologizes. Well, Saguto, I'll give you credit. You're better than most people I know. The sheep girl then explains how dungeons restore themselves after some time, but the ore take longer to restore themselves. Saguto and the sheep girl both fill up their buckets with the ore. Saguto then thanks the sheep girl and asks what's her name. She replies, it's Lori. He then introduces himself as well. Saguto then asks why did she help him? She says because she was concerned because he looked like a moron and she can only deal with looking at morons for so long. Saguto laughs and pats her head and thanks her. Lori seems to enjoy the patting. When he just now noticed that her hair is wool, he asks, is she a sheep? She says that's fucked up. She ain't no goddamn sheep. She's a Pecoran. Seguto apologizes, as he will never get it wrong again. As Seguto is about to pick up the buckets to go exchange them, when then Lori's fuckboy sensors start blaring, as the fuckiest fuckboys to ever fuckboy have now entered the building. Seguto asks, who is Denault? Lori simply says, a bad guy. Yeah, looks about right. As they immediately run up and GTA somebody's shit. When then the little Debbie Menace appears and tells them to run those pockets. Lori rightfully refuses, as the hostess killer tries to gaslight her into saying they hunt monsters so they can mine safely. Lori calls bullshit, as other adventurers came by to do that and they didn't do a goddamn thing. Denault tells Lori to stop bitching and hand them over. Lori screams she's not giving shit up, when goddamn Shohei fucking Otani at the bottom of the 5th throws a fucking laser across Denault's face, as bitchmade 1 and 2 say Denault's name concerned. Denault looks at Seguto pissed, as Seguto looks at Denault the same way I look at Rachel, with utter and pure disdain. And of course Denault's a fucking moron, because he asks Seguto, is he the one who threw that gem? Like, jackass. Do you even see another living fucking creature in the same panel as him? And just to reinforce his stupidity, he screams at Seguto, is he the one that threw that gem? Smugly, Seguto responds that he wanted the gems, so what's there to complain about? When then fuckboy henchman number 1 responds with, he's tagless. Nah, dog, that shit most definitely gotta be racist. When Denault then, after some exposition with fuckboy henchman number 2, Denault asks Seguto, does he know what happens to tagless around these parts? Okay, that settles that. That shit's mad racist. Seguto tells Denault to shut up and suck these nuts. Denault charges at Seguto, and as he's about to pull his sword out from fucking left field, here comes Lori as she hits Denault's arm. Denault then hits Lori with the back fist like he's Bruce Lee with the shits. He then goes for a 57-yard field goal, and it's up and good. Seguto runs over to Lori, and let's just say Seguto's not exactly happy about this field goal attempt. Denault is definitely screaming something racist. Then Seguto turns around and Denault gets to look directly into the abyss, and he's definitely not a fan of what he saw, as Denault's telling Seguto to stay back. Seguto then takes a Sharingan to a Mangekyo Sharingan, and like that, all the fuckboys get up and get out of there like they owed child support. Seguto then gives Lori a potion, and she wakes up to find herself. Seguto gives Lori a potion, and she wakes up to find herself in the town's magical tool shop. After getting Lori healed up, the two amigos pay up to the nice-ish old lady and head off. But now the two find themselves in a bit of a pickle, as neither one of them have a place to stay, as Lori's parents are giving her the Peter Parker treatment. Then after a combination of the pockets, they have enough money to stay at an inn, as Lori and Seguto realize that they have been constantly saving each other. As we cut to Denault, who's going through it, as not only has Seguto cut Denault's HP into thirds, he's also giving him erectile dysfunction to top it off. We then cut to morning, where we see the start of a new partnership. And no, he didn't fuck Lori. My God, what is wrong with you? Where we meet Yoko Hoshi, a 35-year-old and somehow single woman on her way home from work. When she hears a voice calling for help, she looks around, wondering what she's hearing, when then the mysterious voice says it's finally found her, and it transforms the 35-year-old Yoko into a magical girl. And as you can clearly see, she is thrilled about this development. She gets off the train and fucking books it to the bathroom. She's thinking that she must be zoinked out of her mind, right? She then looks in a mirror, and it's just complete and utter disappointment, as her body viscerally rejects this current reality. She then thinks this must be a dream, when then a bunny fairy pops up and tells her that she's wrong, it's not a dream, as he's so excited to have finally caught up with her, as Yuko does not reciprocate those feelings. As she prays to God, Jesus, Allah, Buddha, Zeus, any deity really, that no one sees her like this. When then the bunny fairy starts hopping on top of the stall, Yuko tells the bunny that if he looks over, he'll regret it. The bunny says he won't, as he's been waiting for this moment, and it's okay if she's scared. He'll teach her everything she needs to know. Now, Bunny Fairy, I hope you're not saying this to underage girls, man, cause you're giving some real EDP energy right now. The bunny then hops over the stall with so much excitement. That excitement is not shared by Yuko, and like a white husband watching his white wife give birth to a black baby, there's only awkwardness. As the bunny says, he regrets nothing. The bunny then asks, how old is she? Yuko then unwillingly divulges she's 35. And just like the white husband, the bunny is just distraught over this event. As the bunny then excuses himself, he then calls his superior to see if he can renege on that becoming a magical girl partner thing, as the one he got is more like a magical witch. Yuko will remember these comments. But this is good for Yuko, as she might just be able to get out of this magical girl shtick. When then, the bunny gets informed that the magical girl age limit has been removed, which means Yuko is officially up Shit's Creek. The bunny then says, if that's the case, he'd like to step down, as if it's not a young girl, he's not interested. Oh, so those comments he made earlier sounding like EDP was because he was EDP. Oh, okay. Well, the cupcakes do check out. But his superior informs him that in his contract, that if he abandons his duties or just fails, the penalty is death. Hearing this, Yuko is now up Shit's Creek with no paddle, as this means she has to be a magical girl. And as you can tell by Yuko's face, this is just the best thing to ever happen to her in her life. The bunny hops back over the stall. Yuko hits him with the frame one hell no. The bunny then pleads and cries how he's dead if she doesn't. But the fucks Yuko could give about the bunny EDP's life could not be less. The bunny then pulls an ace out of his rabbit ass as he informs Yuko it's impossible for a human to remove her outfit, as only he could undo the transformation, and even if she waits him out, it'll take about a month for it to wear off. Yuko then imagines herself having to go to work in this getup, and it's not exactly what one would describe as a pleasant thought. Yuko then thinks, if it turns into wabbit season, will it undo the transformation? When from outside the bathroom we hear a loud boom and screaming. Yuko gets a bad feeling about this as she peeks outside to see an explosion. The bunny then says how that's an evil heart, and it's come to steal the bunny's wishing tool. Yoko heard none of that as she was too busy looking up how to wake up from a dream. The bunny grabs Yoko, telling her that this is not a dream. Yuko says that the police will deal with it. The bunny explains that evil hearts are immune to physical attacks, that even if you got a 25 kill streak, it would do nothing. But this is why they have magical girls. Bunny then says that if she defeats it, he'll remove the outfit begrudgingly. Yuko agrees to do it. She grabs a toilet paper roll and wraps it around her face, as we then get a glimpse of what the evil heart looks like, and it looks like a fucking problem. And Yuko agrees with me as she decides that, nah, she's good. The bunny asks, why? Yuko asks, the fuck you mean why? Look at him. He would evict her soul from her body. The bunny then pushes Yuko out into the fray. The evil heart turns around and sees Yuko. Yuko proceeds to cuss out the bunny in her mind, as the bunny then starts writing checks that Yuko's got to cash. The evil heart starts saying how he knew they would come here if he just started rampaging, as he was waiting for the fabled magical girl to appear. He then asks, why is she covering her face? She shouts to not goddamn worry about it. The evil heart then announces how it's time for him to whoop thine ass. He then vanishes, and Yuko thinks, I'm fucking cooked. Then the evil heart reappears and unloads a cannon-like punch at Yuko's face. But what's this? It did no damage. The evil heart's perplexed, and so is Yuko, as she looks at her hands like Michael Jordan and starts getting excited as she thinks, holy shit, am I her? She then tells the evil heart to run it back. The evil heart says some cliched villain shit as he charges again and unloads another cannon-like punch, and Yuko blocks it with complete ease. But you know what didn't block it? The toilet paper. as her face is now totally revealed, and everyone has a variety of faces that somehow all express the same emotion. Fuck. The police shows up telling everyone to freeze and to come out quietly, as Yuko starts having a breakdown as she'd rather kill herself in Minecraft than being caught. The evil heart says it's okay, they can't see behind his back, asking Yuko, is she hiding something? Yuko embarrassingly says, what? No! The evil heart then talks about how terrifying her magical power is and that he would stand no chance against her. So, truce? Yuko is just so embarrassed that even the enemy's being considerate, which is making her even more uncomfortable. But she takes the deal, as she's too embarrassed to look at his face. The evil heart said, no, it is he that should thank her once they make it through this. What the fuck is happening right now? Yuko then thinks that this evil heart is definitely a good person, as the evil heart suggests an escape plan. Yuko agrees, as the bunny is completely fucking flabbergasted at what the hell is going on. The evil heart takes her home? No, what is really happening? The evil heart then says how he may be her enemy, but he saved her life and that he'll keep her secret. But why? He then says some MC-like bullshit of he'll get the wishing tool fair and square, as he then Incredible Hulk leaps away. Hold up, wait a minute. Was all that tension? Yuko's now home with an irrecoverable wound in her heart and is completely fucked, as in order to protect her everyday life, Yuko, a 35-year-old somehow single woman, must partner with a pedophile bunny fairy and be a magical girl. Here we meet our ace, Toko Natsukichi, who's in a meeting with God, because while God was on the shitter, Toko got froggered, but Toko is unconvinced the person in front of him is actually God. So God decides to bring up how Toko first choked the chicken to a model's back, and how when his dick popped through his foreskin like a turtle head, he thought it was not normal, so he cried himself to sleep. Toko says, okay, he's God. Damn, putting all his business in the air right now. God asks Toko, is he okay with dying like Crossy Roads? Toko says, hell no, as he still hasn't done a thing for his mom or Gramps. But since he's dead, can't really do anything about that now, can he? God says it's not GG's just yet, buckaroo, as he can bring Toko back to life because he's fucking God. However, he'll be sending Toko to another world called Galia, a world where everyone was beefing with each other so hard for so long that 30 years ago, God said, okay, that's enough, and taught them baseball to solve their problems. So, if your nation sucks at baseball, a la the LA Angels, you're deep fried. And speaking of LA Angels, God will be condemning Shohei Ohtani Light to the Los Angeles Angels to save them. And once he saves them, he'll bring them back to life. Toko agrees to these terms, as he'll carry this sorry ass nation to victory. God's glad to hear this, as he sends Toko off to his new world. Toko is woken up by a fairy as they startle each other. She then introduces herself as the Angel's manager, Marin, and is wondering if he's Toko because God told her that the goat would be showing up. Toko says, yeah, that sounds like him. Marin's glad as she heard he's really good at baseball and to please save them. Toko says not to worry, as he'll carry their sorry asses, but baseball is a team sport, so if she could show him the baggage he'll have to carry, that'll be great. She agrees, as we see the Angels currently in a territories match against Wolfsmud, and we see their current ace, Crush, get team absolutely fucking crushed. And Toko is wondering, why is she only throwing fastballs? Why not throw some curveballs as well? Marin looks at Toko confused and asks, curveballs? Oh, he must mean those magic balls. A weak nation like them can't do that, but the Wolfsmud ace can. It then clicks for Toko that a backpack's not gonna cut it. He's gonna need a double XL suitcase for this. But he's the pitcher, so there's no need to worry about that. But the other positions are women, kids, old folks, and a dog? Toko wonders, do they perhaps have any young-blooded testosterone bursting through the seams folks around? Marin explains, this is the best they got, as everyone else got enslaved, as everything in this world is resolved with baseball. including territories and people. And for a nation as weak as they are, they can only wager themselves. Marin begs Toko to save them. Toko watches as their ace is sorry. She's fucking trash. She's getting her shit rocked. My God, they're losing 47-0. They're sorry. Everybody on his fucking team is sorry. Even after acknowledging how sorry everyone is, Toko says it can't be helped, as he'll just have to bring his heavy-duty triple XL suitcase. Marin thanks Toko. Toko is so excited to turn all these bums into something just competent. The game's now over, and after losing by a score that would have made me turn the entire console off, we see Crush, exhausted, as Nina comes to give Crush a towel and compliment her. On what? On how she only gave up 47 runs and not like 90? Dog, her ERA gotta be like 450.8. But Crush is frustrated as she still couldn't do a thing. Girl, have you thought about changing up your strategy just a bit? With this loss, they lost the mountain, so the winter's going to be tough. Crush starts breaking down when Marin brings Toko to meet the team. Toko then introduces himself and declares that he's now in charge of this dumpster fire, and if they follow his instructions, they won't be so sorry, because right now they're all just sorry. When then Wolf's Mud comes over to start talking that good shit about how inferior and weak the human race is, and oh, what's this? Is this my horniness radar going off? As one of the wolves asks, why doesn't Crush come over to their team? As they'll take real good care of her. So I just want to get this straight. Humans are incompetent, slow, weak, and dull, but still good enough to smash, huh? I see. The power of horny is strong with this one. Toko had enough from a dog that's just all bark. When Marin says to apologize because calling them a dog is the worst insult to them, Toko says, I don't give a fuck, Keisha. Toko says, give them 7 days and they'll beat the fleas off them. And as the wolf's about to swing, the ace wolf says to stop. They don't want to receive a penalty and they'll give them a rematch since he was just talking all that good shit a second ago. And they better win, because if not, the price for insulting them will be all their booties. Nina asks, what the hell was that? Crush then interjects yelling, what in the whole fuck is he doing? And who the hell does he think he is to do that shit? As she's the leader here. Toko then suggests, why don't they have a little match? Whoever strikes out first loses. And if he wins, he's the captain now. And if she wins, he'll follow her orders. Crush agrees to the match. Toko's up first to bat and Crush pitching. And my God, she's got a wagon. In all my manga reading career, I've dreamed of days like this, where our Asian brothers and sisters finally do the wagon justice. Now Crush up and ready to go. Marin explains the rules one more time so that no one can bitch or complain after they get their muffin cap peeled. Crush throws the first pitch and gets her shit sent straight to another manga. Everyone's like, ah. But now Toko's up to pitch. Crush up to bat as Crush says that she's just tired from the match earlier. Toko says, you're right. So how about I make it fair for your scrub ass? Instead of me having to strike your sorry ass out once, I'll have to do it 12 times. Crush says to not disrespect her as she don't need a goddamn handicap. Crush, fully caked up, is ready to hit and Toko winds up the pitch and unloads a fucking missile. It's fucking over. Call the match, ref. Crush does not stand a snowball's chance in hell. Everyone but Toko is in shock as Toko reminds Marin to call the strike. And at this moment, Crush knew she fucked up. Toko winds up another pitch and launches it straight for Crush. She then moves to get out of the way, and that shit breaks harder than the internet than that one time Kim Kardashian uploaded that one picture. And my God, it wasn't cake that wagon was carrying, it was an entire bakery. Crush gets up asking, the hell is wrong with him? Marin then breaks the news to Crush that was a strike. Crush says, pardon me, Ed boy, what? Marin says, yeah, that was a strike. Crush says, there's just no way. The fucker knows the magic ball too? She then looks at Toko, who's got his chef outfit on as he's cooking her sorry ass. Toko then loads up for the fatality. Crush is realizing that she's made better decisions than accepting Toko's challenge. And strike 3, fatality. Toko wins. Toko walks over to Crush and says, even though she's sorry, and this whole fucking nation is sorry, like really sorry. He'll carry them to victory. Crush agrees as she just got smoked and lost the bet after all. And it's the end of May 2021. And we're at a middle school reunion? There's no chance that middle school reunions are a real thing, where a bunch of mid-30-year-olds are talking trash about how people were in middle school. When then a gentle snake who can only be described as the most untrustworthy two-dimensional being one could draw walks in the room. His name is Suzuki. And the ladies then start talking about how he's as cool as ever and how much money he makes and how they're jealous of his wife and who cares? Also, anyone being cool in middle school is the highest levels of cap one could produce. Anyways, Jake the Snake walks on stage and talks about how he organized this event and who fucking cares? But everyone's vibes at this, once again, middle school reunion are fraudulent at best. And then someone starts making their way through the room and the vibes start to slowly change into, oh no. We then see someone shuffling through the venue when then Suzuki sees a name tag, Aizawa Yuichi, and he's stunned, and so is everybody, as they're all just looking at Aizawa, who's looking at the snake god, as everybody's just so perplexed as to why he showed up, considering they viciously bullied him for fun in middle school. And what's that? Is that my fraud alert going off? As Suzuki raises a glass in the air like he's done nothing wrong. But not everyone at the reunion can fake it like Suzuki, as whispering begins about, is it really the same Aizawa they bullied so badly he left school? Would he really come to the reunion? And why did they invite him? A woman called Takono comes over to Aizawa to say how she's always regretted the things she did to him and always wanted to apologize to him one day, as she never helped him, and she's truly sorry for that. Aizawa thinks, I should drop kick this bitch off a fucking balcony. She then talks about how she has a family and if he still resents her for that time. Aizawa says it's okay. He does not have any resentment towards them, with what might quite possibly be the most ingenuine smile ever drawn in manga. But all the idiots in the room fall for it, not understanding that yes, he does not simply have resentment. It's pure and utter disdain he has for them. As a bunch of them start coming over in droves to apologize to Aizawa, when some irrelevant duo in the back start making excuses like, I didn't really do anything bad, I didn't really want to bully him anyways, but that guy. The snake slithers into the conversation asking, that guy? The two NPCs start retreating from the snake. Suzuki says to Aizawa, it's been a while. He's glad they can see each other, with just the most nauseating look of arrogance on his face that makes me personally want to hit him with a car and park it on top of him. Suzuki then says, wasn't around the third year of middle school that Aizawa stopped showing up. They were all so lonely as they all wanted to attend graduation together. Some people at this point are thinking, Suzuki, if you want to die, die by yourself. Suzuki then continued with how without him there to bully, the days went by so slow. He asked Aizawa, what's wrong? And Aizawa says, I'm just so unbelievably happy you haven't changed at all, as he's been wanting to see him too. They then shake hands to commemorate the meeting once again. Then someone tells everybody to gather up to take a celebratory photo. Suzuki puts his slithery ass arms around Aizawa and asks, what did he come here for? As he's ruined the entire party, Aizawa says nothing as he contemplates if he wants to stab Suzuki now or later. Suzuki says this is a part of him that makes him so annoying, cause no matter how much they did to him in middle school, whether it was sticking his head in toilets, making him eat garbage, throwing balls at his face, not even once did he resist, and he really needs to liven up, a bit. Aizawa says nothing as he contemplates, what if I have him get eaten alive by a polar bear? Aizawa then asks the billion-dollar question, would the bullying have stopped if he resisted? And I don't fucking believe it. Suzuki gives the most fraudulent ass answer that if Aizawa resisted, he probably would have stopped bullying him. That is complete and utter horseshit, Suzuki, and you fucking know it. you fucking fraud. As Suzuki says, the one who gets bullied is the one to blame, which is just the epitome of stupidity. It then clicks for Aizawa that he'll ruin him physically, mentally, and then kill him by boiling him alive. Then the camera person says, get ready to take the picture. Suzuki tells Aizawa to smile, and Aizawa assures Suzuki that he's really good at smiling, as he gives a smile that would make 99% of living creatures realize that they have made a critical mistake. Suzuki now home. We get to see his wife and daughter. His daughter asks him, was the reunion fun? Suzuki says, yes, very. His daughter then asks, was everybody different from when they were in middle school? They goddamn better be. Suzuki then thinks of Aizawa and says, not at all. As Suzuki is now feeling himself way too much, as he thinks once a loser, always a loser. And thanks to seeing Aizawa yesterday, this morning, Suzuki is in an extra good mood. His daughter Shiori is now at school, and she opens up her locker, and well, would you look at that? Suzuki's daughter, Shiori, seems to be in the same boat he put Aizawa in back in the day. Then one of Shiori's friends comes over and wishes her good morning. Shiori quickly closes her locker door and wishes her good morning as well. And as Shiori's thinking it's happened again, a professor wishes Shiori a good morning, and oh my goodness, is that Professor Aizawa? Shiori and her friends say good morning to Aizawa sensei. Aizawa then asks Shiori, could he speak to her in private for a minute? The two are now alone. Aizawa then asks Shiori, has anybody been harassing you recently? She asks, well, why is he asking her? Aizawa mentions how strange things have been happening around her recently. Shiori puts on her best brave face and says nobody's harassing her, as she gets along with everybody in her class just fine. Aizawa says, all right, he may just be overthinking things a bit, but a little harassment will grow if you leave it alone, as he has experienced it firsthand. Shiori is in shock, wondering what happened to Aizawa, wondering what happened to Aizawa's arm. Aizawa says a certain guy did this to him in middle school. She then asks, was he bullied? Aizawa says nothing. Shiori says, that's horrible to do something like that. They can't be human to do that. That's why your dad's a fucking snake, Shiori. Aizawa says, yeah, that if something ever happens, to come to him, as he'll protect her with all his might. But Aizawa was also thinking, hey Suzuki, all those things you said about those who get bullied as their own fault for why they get bullied, I'm curious, could you say the exact same thing to your own daughter? We then see two kids asking our MC Gray to help them, as they then start begging for his assistance. Gray contemplates what he should do, as all the background characters are whispering loud as hell, "Great Scott! Is that man going to sell those children?" Gray wishes the kids would stop, as they're now in full Doggies pose. Gray looks around, still hearing them whispering loud as hell, thinking, wow, that's fucked up. My face already scaring the hoes, and now you're gonna make all these assumptions about me? The kids are still begging Gray to heal their sick family member. Gray wonders how he even got in this situation in the first place. We then get a quick little flashback of the two kids trying to sell some flowers, when then some Redditors come and kick one of the kids just cuz. And Gray hits him with the sweet sound of chin music and says he'll buy a flower. Gray then asks, who's he healing? A sibling or parent? The kids say their parents decided to play the game of life in offline mode, and their siblings more in the figurative way than literal, as their sibling is currently sick from a lack of V-Bucks. After some more contemplation, Gray decides, why not? Even though he's not 100% sure he can heal them. The kids ask about the payment. Gray says they can pay him back by not becoming TikTokers. The kids start crying tears of joy as they finally found someone to buy them all the Robux. Gray's flashbang by the sudden crying, as the kids explain that every adult they encountered are from Philadelphia, as they were all just mean to them for no reason. I mean, for God's sakes, they booed Santa Claus. The kids are now leading Gray down the yellow brick road to their home. Gray says, that's right, we haven't introduced ourselves yet. As he introduces himself, the kids introduce themselves as Isuka and Fio, as Gray realizes that Isuka is this world's protagonist, as he has been reborn into a villain from a game he played, but nonetheless he'll follow his conscience, which is random at best. So even being a villain, he decides to help the chibi hero. As Isuka says, we're here, and he'll go inside and explain everything to everybody. And we see they live in a home with more structural integrity than any Floridian building built in the last decade. Once again, Theo bows and thanks Gray once again for coming all the way out here to help them. Gray says to thank him after he swiped his credit card. Gray then says he could be a villain planning to kidnap her whole family and sell them to Roblox YouTubers. And Theo and Iska were down so bad on the streets of Philly. Theo says, even so, he listened to what they had to say. And if he was truly an Eagles fan, he wouldn't say that or not boo Santa Claus. Theo starts panicking, thinking she's upset Gray. Gray says, nah, he was just thinking about how this transaction will affect his credit score, as he just got it over 750, and she's just so thankful that he's not upset. And Gray wonders, does his resting Boston face really make him defaultly look that upset? As Iska brings him inside to meet the family, we see a girl suffering from TikTok withdrawals as the oldest of the Rugrats, named Aramel, asks, is he going to cure her? Gray says, we'll see what happens. Aramel then introduces the rest of the Rugrats, Nina, Lutz, and the one suffering is Stella. Gray looks at Stella and is surprised. He then asks Aramel, what color are Stella's eyes? Aramel says, red. After doing some real cyber sleuthing, Gray comes to the stunning conclusion that Stella's a vampire, and she's currently just suffering from malnutrition. As all the kids think, we're all fucking suffering from that. Gray says this is an easy problem to deal with, as he asks the kids, what do they normally eat for dinner? The kids say air, which, fun fact, is the same diet as a college student. Gray decides that he's gonna go Chef Curry in this bitch. As for the next month, he's gonna be cooking for them. The kids are stunned, saying they can't ask her that much, but Gray says he said he helped cure her, didn't he? The kids all thank Gray so much to go to the local Kroger, as he thinks, I can't just leave him. I mean, one's the MC for fuck's sakes. And he'll be sacrificing them for his own self-satisfaction anyway. He thinks, what type of light meal should he make for them? When then a bunch of Genshin Impact fans appear from out of nowhere saying he also had his eyes on those kids too. Gray says, what in the hell? As he asks one of the Genshin fans, why are you fucking touching me? As he proceeds to break that one's wrist and proceeds to smash his face into Mother Earth. As the other Genshin players shout, you bastard! Gray then says, I don't know what your plans were for those kids, but let it be understood that those plans will stay as past tense, as he proceeds to lay them all out like Peter Griffin. As he grabs one of the men and says, even look at those kids again and I'll feed you to harpies. As he explains, harpies like to eat their prey ass first. But what scared the man the most was Gray's face. Gray asks, why did they insult him by breathing the same air as he? The guy says they thought he was like them and after their target. Gray slams his face into the ground yelling, didn't you learn in pre-K that I'm the wrong motherfucker to mess with and not judge a YouTube video by its title or thumbnail? Gray is now at Kroger getting the groceries. He's now back at the cribbo and he is chefing and currying with the shit. The kids are kinda shocked he can cook. Aramel says she'll help as Lutz is looking at the groceries like Zion Williamson. Gray tells Lutz to wait just a little longer. While cooking like Chef from 3, Nina comes over to Gray and grabs his leg and stares at him. Gray grabs a rag and wipes the snot from her face. Nina continues to stare some more, and like an episode of Jerry Springer, she calls Gray Dada. Gray has been stun-locked by this move, as what does he do? Does he deny the allegations, or does he just pay the alimony? Aramel comes over to Nina to inform her that Gray is not the father. Food now made, it's time to eat, as Iska's shocked by just how good the food is. Theo tells him to not talk with his mouth full, and the little ones are fucking the food all the way up. As Nina calls Gray Dada again, and this stun locks Gray once again. As Aramel slowly feeds Stella and everyone's happy that she's eating. As the kids tell Gray to leave the cleanup to them, as they continue to thank him so much. Gray stands up and says, it's about that time. Nina then comes over and hugs Gray and calls him Dada once again, and the devs really need to nerf her, as the community has been complaining about Nina's fucking stun lock for months now. As Nina gives Gray her ever so precious doll, as Aramel tells Nina that Gray is about to leave. Nina says she doesn't want Dada to leave again. Gray, with zero immunity to children, says he'll stay until after she falls asleep. It's now the next morning and Gray is taking some groceries to the shack. As the kids are thanking him, Gray gives them some recipes and menu ideas as he won't be coming by every day, so this should hold them over for a little bit. Aramel asks, does he want to see the other three? They're still sleeping. He goes in and it's just unfucking fair. All three of these characters are broken. Aramel asks Gray, will they see him again soon? Gray says yes, but first, he has a bit of a plan he must execute. A bit later, we see an orc, flustered and panicking, as he's running for his life, as nothing scares him but that man. He can't beat that man. But how? Humans are supposed to be livestock to orcs. When they first saw that man, they thought, he's now stuck in this forest with us. But no, they were wrong. They were stuck in the forest with him. But the thing that scares the orc the most is that he keeps aiming for his gonads. Gray asks, are you finished or are you done? Because there's something I need to buy. Now give up and fork over the family jewels. This girl here is Akatsu Riko, and you may look at her and think she's a problem. And you would be right, she is a problem. For me. You see, what's hers is hers, and what's mine is hers. And this includes my room. And as you can see, she's making herself quite comfortable, as she's already telling me to get her some food. Now you may be asking, wait a minute, how the hell did this happen? Well, you see, one day I ran into her outside of my house. She then proceeded to make it her house, and that's how we're here. And ever since that shit happened once, it proceeded to happen every day since then, as she's turned my room into her resort, and I'm nothing but her butler. As she demands things that I have no choice to do, as she terrifies me. But it's now nighttime, and I suggest to her that it's time for her to go home. She proceeds to tell me the fuck that got to do with her, and tells me to come over to her because she really wants to practice some WWE moves, which I'm hesitant to do because of stimulating factors such as her choking the life out of me. Holy shit, I can't breathe. Uncle, uncle, uncle. The lioness then, after playing with her prey, aka me, decides to lay down. I proceed up to inform the lioness to go the fuck home, as it's late. She informs me that she already feels sleepy and that it's too late to go back home tonight. So she's just going to stay here for the night. My thoughts on this development? For fun, it's now another day, and guess who's in my humble abode? If you get Akatsu, you would be correct. I've now delivered the lioness her juice. She then says my name. I must be careful. It could be a trap. Ah, shit. She found my porn stash. God damn it, it's the 21st century. Why the fuck do I still have porn DVDs? I beg for her to spare my non-existent social life. She informs me that she won't tell anyone. I breathe a sigh of relief until I hear her say, instead, why don't you show me what you do when you watch these things? If not, she'll expose me. She proceeds to play the video and harasses me. However, there seems to be a slight miscalculation in her plans, as she didn't know my fetishes are interesting. Well, I've always been curious about how bleach tasted. After that travesty, I've decided, fuck that. I'm not letting her back in my room, no matter what. Okay, after some brief self-reflection, I've decided that her presence, not too bad. Not too bad. How the fuck is she in my room already? Didn't I lock the fucking door? I asked the lioness to once again abandon this den. She informs me she's tired, so I can go kick rocks. I wonder, but why? She then challenges me, saying if I can move her from my goddamn bed, she'll go home. This is a challenge and an opportunity. Will another chance like this appear? I doubt it. She's now taunting me, but I'm fearful that I do not have the lower abdomen to complete such a task. She then taunts me more, saying, no fucking shot. You're scared to touch a girl? I know you're a fucking virgin, but damn. What she said hurt like a bitch, but deny it I could not. But for my sanity, I must do something. Aha! I got it. I'll just pull her by her wrist and I've officially been demoted down to bottom in the relationship. However, if this is the view, I might be able to work with my new role. Another day and another day my room is not mine. My God, I really gotta put like some booby traps in this bitch or something. But the lioness has kindly knocked the fuck out. But the problem is that I also want to sleep. That means that I must disturb the lioness. However, after seeing the beast in the wild and watching a poor soul try the same maneuver, it did not end well for the bloke. I'm fearful. Shall I engage the beast or let her rest? No, fuck that. I must reclaim my territory. I will not let my sword pen stop me from taking back what is rightfully. Huh? Oh, fuck. The bloody beast was awake. It was a trap all along. Whew. Luckily, the bee still sleeps, but I may as well pop a squat because I'm going to be here for a while. Another day, another lack of alone time. The lioness proceeds to continue reigning claim over her new domain as she answers a phone call. What could they be discussing? Excuse me? What was I overhearing? Who wants to come over where? No. My humble abode will not turn into an MTV music video. I must stop her from fucking up my abode even more. But she's keeping me away with her feet while she conversates. But with some persistence, I managed to have her in the call. I asked the lioness to please reconsider. I do not want to have hooligans come to my residence. The lioness tells me to shut up. I didn't tell them where your house was, but you really want to make out with me that bad, huh? I'm flabbergasted. I never thought I could get that far even if I tried. No, seriously, if I tried, could I get that far? The lioness continues to harass me, but I have a bad feeling about future events. Akutsu assures me that my room is for her use and her use alone, and she tells me to not let any other lionesses enter except her. The hypocrisy of Akutsu's request is that I don't remember inviting her in. I'm pretty sure she broke in. The sun has set and risen, and now I'm at an institution where students come to learn, allegedly, and I see the lioness conveying on her pride. They seem to be talking about her panties showing. Oh my. And it seems her showing panties is not that big of a deal, because that's how she makes moolah, baby. And after hearing such shocking revelations, I think, shit, how much you think she But guess where we are now? Did you say her room? Well, you would be wrong. Completely and utterly fucking wrong. Where in my room? Well, at this point, that's up for actual discussion. But the thing I can internally discuss is this a trap? Am I being tempted by the Forbidden Garden? This has to be a trap. There's just no way. But she's got on to me being lost in thought. She asked, why am I being so weird? But God, she's spreading her legs even more. If the devil is tempting me right now, do let him know he's winning. She then asks, is it her? She then pauses and fuck. It clicked in her head that I was looking at the Forbidden Garden. As I prepare to hand over my financial account, it shocks me to my core. What did she say? It's fine. But why, my lady? She says, well, I've been using your room like a hotel and reading your manga and playing your games, plus eating your food. So think of this service as on the house. As she raises her skirt even more. But in order for this service to stay on the house, I must keep this garden and Eden to myself. If this is the benefit I can receive, then your presence will always be a blessing. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must now go strangle some poultry.